Right. Hello and good morning, Keller Williams, Greater Metropolitan, and welcome to our weekly sales meeting. Very excited to have you with us this morning as we are going to dive into a great topic at the top of the hour. And it's one that is hyper accessible to all agents, all levels of the business. Whether you are doing it at a super high level right now or you've never done it, we're going to talk about some ways to leverage events and milestones as an opportunity to stay in relationship with your SOI. That is your sphere of influence, the most important people to your business. Before we jump into that, we're going to do what we always do, which is start with a little conversation about our beliefs. These are your Y4C2Ts, the 10 beliefs that guide our culture here at Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. And every week I like to grab one, talk about it a little bit, think about how we might use it or how I've seen it come up. This week I want to talk about integrity. This is, just having had a few calls towards the end of last week and over the weekend. It seemed like the appropriate one, and not that anybody in our organization is doing anything that would be absent integrity, but just know sometimes in markets like this one, we have the opportunity and we can get frustrated, and our clients get frustrated, and we experience people behaving without integrity. It might be the listing agent that told us we got it, and then we tell our clients that we got it, and then the listing agent tells us, oh, somebody else came back and offered higher and you no longer have it. Those feel really, those situations sting, right? And they might lead us to take this eye for an eye approach to integrity, where if nobody else is behaving with integrity, why should I? And I would posit that in an environment like that, it is even more important and more valuable to operate with the highest level of integrity. And I love the way that we define integrity as a company. It is not some airy-fairy, esoteric, half the stuff's written in Latin to describe a term. It is very simply that we do the right thing. And I believe that if we consistently do the right thing, we will get the results, the outcomes, the life, and the very good night's sleep that we all so desperately desire. So as you approach this week, and as we go through what is the busiest time of the year from a real estate transaction standpoint, and you're going to have a bunch of irons in the fire and a bunch of different things going on, and you're going to be dealing with a bunch of different people who are operating at various ends of the integrity spectrum. Don't let that get you down. See that call back to the song? Don't let that get you down, or bring you down rather, and take advantage of the high road. There's not a lot of traffic on the high road, so if you take it, you'll be better off. So as you go through this week and the rest of the month, take advantage of that. All right, on to our first slide, talking about Mega Camp. So we are getting more and more information about Mega Camp. I will remind you that Mega Camp is one of the largest real estate events in the country. This is a Keller Williams exclusive event, and one that happens in Austin, Texas every August. And yes, the weather is perfect in Austin, Texas in August if you love it in the 90s with a touch of humidity. Fortunately, most of the time you are inside of the Austin Convention Center, learning from top agents from around the world and how they grow their business. There are also keynote addresses and breakout panels. This year's keynote is Mr. Timmy Tebow. Tim Tebow will be the keynote at Mega Camp this year. So if you follow him, what he does, his message, there should be some pretty powerful stuff coming at Mega Camp. The focus of this year's Mega Camp, there's always a theme or something that we're really drilling down on a lot of these playbooks that you see that we've been working through over the course of the last year and sharing out consistently. Those have come from MegaCamp. This year's focus aligns with our international organization's goal of creating 100,000 millionaires in the next 2 years. And so it'll all be focused on the millionaire real estate agent and creating more millionaire real estate agents. Quick check this morning. You can get a round trip flight for less than $500, close to $400. And you don't even have to fly Spirit or Frontier. Hotel rooms are less than $500 right now for 2 nights in downtown Austin. And you could also split rooms, get an Airbnb. There's a lot of fun stuff that a lot of folks do inside of our company and throughout the country. And the ticket to MegaCamp is $600. So you're all in for, let's call it $1,500. We have agents who run their entire business off referral, with the majority of those coming from outside of Cleveland. So you can build some referral partners and get that paid for, or you can just say, hey, this is a great trip. This is great for development, and I'm going to use it as a tax write-off. You want more information on that, you can talk to our accounting partner and bookkeeping partner, Bobby Bodner with Breadify. But events like this, tax write-offs for your business. Take advantage of it. If you have more questions about MegaCamp, if you want to know, hey, who else is going? Who's considering going? Who can I bunk with, fly down with, whatever, let me know, and we'll get you plugged in. All right. Career night. We had a very successful career night last week in our Pepper Pike office. We have a Zoom-only career night this Wednesday, and then next Monday we'll be hosting an in-person session in Rocky River. So come one, come all. Anybody that you know that is looking to learn more about a career in real estate or opportunities afforded at our company, whether they are in classes, not in classes, licensed, experienced, whatever it is, they are welcome here at these career nights. So please take advantage of that opportunity, not only to get them in touch with our leadership team and Eddie Donnelly, but also to grow your downline and your profit share. Speaking of profit share, and speaking of millionaires, Nancy Emmerman. So profit share is an awesome part of our culture, where at the end of each month, the owners of this company take 48% roughly of all profit made that month and share it back to the agents who helped us grow this company. So you may recall everyone, when they joined the company, named somebody that was that is their sponsor. And so that person then is rewarded whenever we have profit. And so if you are interested in learning more about profit share specifically from one of less than 130 people who have earned over $1 million lifetime, that's Nancy Emmerman. Nancy is one of the top profit share earners in the history of not just our local company, but the entire international organization. And she is decided, she's been kind enough to, on the 21st of each month, which is when profit share is paid out, on the 21st of each month, host a little coffee chat in our Pepper Pike office for agents who are interested in learning more about profit share, who are interested in growing their profit share, and just hearing her story about how she developed such a strong profit share and brought so many fantastic people into relationship with our company. So please take advantage of that tomorrow, 11 a.m. And then on Thursday, we have our Capper Happy Hour. That is going to be at All Saints Public House, same place it was last year. So if you capped any time between January of 2022 and Thursday, June 22nd of 2023, you are welcome to join us, and we hope that you will. This is always a really fun time. Our partners at Cross Country Mortgage are picking up the tab. Sean Hadley is not going to be there, but his credit card is. So we are really stoked that we'll be able to rack that up. And Don Jarecki will be doing most of the work on that, I have no doubt. No, we're really excited. This is a great chance for us to celebrate the outstanding accomplishments of so many of our agents. Nearly a third of, or just over a third of our agents cap every year, which is an awesome accomplishment and a very high number. as it pertains to our peers in the Keller Williams universe. So we're really happy, and we want to make a big time for you on Thursday. And then next Wednesday, this is going to be an awesome event, The Art of Selling with Allison Benoit. So Allison, with decades of experience in sales, is going to be breaking down the art of selling as it pertains to real estate. It's really important to understand that, selling is not just talking a lot, right? Some of us find our way into sales situations because, somebody told us we have the gift of gab, and that, that's going to make us a great salesperson. Allison's going to dispel that. It's also, specific to our industry. Showing homes is a lot more than just opening up doors. And there is a vast separation amongst the agents that understand that and the ones that don't, right? Showing homes is more than just opening up doors. And Allison's going to be using a framework called feature benefit emotion, right? Having a big living room or a lot of square footage or a big backyard, those are features, right? The benefit is what that allows the client to do, right? Oh, if you have a big backyard, you'll get the kids the dog they always wanted, right? The benefit is you have more space for more of the things that you want, and then carrying it through to elicit the emotion that's involved and calling that out. What would it feel like to watch your kids in the backyard playing with the dog, right? A big backyard like that. And so she'll be breaking down those strategies and tactics that lead to great selling, right? So that we are not just running all over God's green acre, opening up doors and hoping that our clients naturally and without any cajoling fall in love with the property. Next Thursday, the very next day, next Thursday at 9 a.m. for you CE folks that need it, or anybody who's just interested in learning more about core law as it pertains to real estate. We have a CE in our Pepper Pike office, 9 a.m. It is going to be, Mike is a guy that has done this several times for us in the past. He's an outstanding instructor. He makes it fun. He has some jokes that he tells every time. They always get laughs. I would strongly encourage you all to take advantage of it. If you just hit your CE cycle or you just barely made it through, I'm going to ask you to please get ahead of it. You don't have to wait until 2025 to start doing your CEs. You can start them now. And then for some fun, our June book club. Don't miss out on this. This is going to be in the Rocky River office, June 30th. This isn't a personal and professional development book. It's not a real estate strategy book. It is a novel called The Maid. It's about 300 pages long, or if you're an Audible listener, about 9 hours. So even if you picked it up today, I have faith that you could finish this book by the end of next week and then join Kelly Mann in the Rocky River office for some fun. And then finally, you've heard a lot about it. You've seen a lot about it. You're going to continue to. We've got a really, really big event. The real estate event of the summer is what we're calling this. Summer Masterminds will have over 350 agents in Northeast Ohio, nearly 36 panelists across 8 panels, and a keynote presenter all the way from 6 or 8 time zones away in Hawaii. So we have an action-packed event. There will be swag, there will be photo ops, there will be food. It's going to be great at the Embassy Suites in Independence, Ohio. Our market center, along with the 6 others in Northeast Ohio, are hosting this event. So we are expanding and growing Summer Masterminds. You can see the list of all the different panels that'll be taking place there. There's really no part of the business isn't going to be touched, whether it's buyers, sellers, marketing, systems, growing your teams, breaking or understanding niche markets like luxury. There is something for everybody at this event. So hop on getting your tickets. I will say this now, and I will say this again in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, we'll be pretty close to it, I would imagine. This event's going to sell out. So if this is something that you're like, oh, it would be super interesting to go, or that sounds awesome, I'll go to that, and then you don't get a ticket, you may not have the chance to go. So please take advantage of it. It is not just our market center buying tickets. More than half of the tickets that have been sold already have been bought by other market centers. So don't be boxed out by your Keller Williams peers. Go get your ticket now. All right. Be on the lookout for a July calendar coming down the pike soon. But your big event, your bullseye for July is July 12th for Summer Masterminds. All right, let's go over to the partners. We know Sean Hadley's out of town. So when Hadley's away, Jarecki will play. Let's have some fun, Don. What's going on?
Well, the good news is after the long 3-day weekend, nothing bad happened in the markets this morning, which is usually what happens. You come off a 3-day weekend with a holiday on Monday and the markets being closed. Just something explodes, something unusual happens in the European countries. And that didn't happen today. So the markets are still stagnant. The good news is you can still get interest rates anywhere from 6 1/8 up to 7 1/4 with points, some points, no points. So still affordable. I don't see us going into the 5s like these experts were telling us anytime soon. Just everything that they were expecting to happen kind of did happen, but then there was some speak from the Fed that just flipped that around the other way and just changed the story, and markets reacted accordingly and just stopped everything from rallying like we expected it to. But again, you could still grab some rates with a little bit of cost here. That helps make things affordable. But again, to get I'd say to get inventory, we truly have to get rates into the mid to upper 5s with little to no cost to get people that are sitting on rates 4 and under to list their homes.
That or we need some life events, right? Life events drive real estate events. And I think for Don, for perspective, we were in the climb this time last year, right? So we're at about, let's call it 6.5, 6 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the rate that most of the world's dialing in at. This time last year, where were we? We were in the high 5s.
You were in the high 5s. We were starting a steady climb.
Yep. And so by the end of July, you were in the mid 6s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so for everybody who's having conversations with their clients about, is it the right time to buy? Is it, what's going to happen with interest rates? Or, they're supposed to be coming down. And they still have, I think you were referring to me as the expert when you're talking about the rates getting back in the 5s.
One of the many, probably the most, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, there could be movement, should be movement in the back half of this year. There's a lot of factors that are playing into it, jobs numbers, the debt ceiling stuff, like all of that has a little bit of a hand in it. But when you talk to your clients and they're anxious about the rates, you can help them understand that for the last year, these have been the rates.
Correct.
Right. And,
correct.
Barring any cataclysmic events like global pandemics, it's unlikely that there will be anything that quickly brings those rates down. They should come down with inflation and some adjustments in the economy. But if they're waiting for rates to come down and they started that waiting game last July or August, they're in the same position. They just have fewer or different opportunities than they had a year ago. So for your clients who are like, yes, we like the house, but we're not sure about the rate. We want to maybe, circle back in 3 months and see where it's at. It's very likely, right? If the trailing 12-month average, you're going to look at the same rate, just a different house. So I think that perspective on where rates have been is going to be really powerful to help folks understand what movement is or isn't possible.
Well, the other thing too is, Mike, people think housing prices are going to come down. They're not. There's not going to be any housing crash in Northeast Ohio. You might get a little bit of a crash down in the Florida or the coastal areas, but not in Northeast Ohio. So waiting and trying to time the market just doesn't work. What will really start to spur interest rates on that downward turn, one is you got to get unemployment raising. Two, you need the Fed to officially state that we are in a recession. Once those words come out of their mouth, that's when we start to see interest rate cuts. That's when you'll start to see interest rates dropping.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Well, we will all be waiting with bated breath for Jerry Powell to do that, and we will stay hawkish on those jobs numbers.
You got it.
in the meantime. But all right, thanks for that update, Don. I just saw Chris Bullock walking in, so we're gonna skip him. He missed his chance. And look, I went to you first with the Ohio Real Title slide up. Not bad. All right, I saw Stacy and Janelle on the line this morning, I believe.
Stacy's gone. It's Rick and Janelle.
I'm not going to call it a downgrade, but Rick,
I
Just as
would.
beautiful as Stacy. Yes.
I call
it's
it a
great to see
downgrade.
you. It's great to see you, Rick.
Rick, go ahead. You can start off.
All right, cool. I'll do the dates, you do the fetch. So just a reminder, obviously next Friday is the end of the month, and it also happens to coincide very closely with the 4th of July weekend. So just be realistic and know that some escrow people are probably going to be taken off to make it a long holiday. So if you guys are running into any communication issues, of course, reach out to Janelle and I, because we have no lives. So we'll be able to help you guys out in any way that we can. And then another thing we've just been harping on, again, if you just need to touch your clients with some information, remind those investors and people who don't have mortgages that their tax payment is coming due here in the next 3 weeks for the second half real estate taxes. And I'll let Janelle take it over because I have to run.
Yeah, honestly, guys, really just following up. Rick and I both taught separate times, so not sheet classes last week. Some people came out and asked for follow-up appointments just with myself. I don't know about Rick. To sit and kind of talk about the process and go through everything we have. Please know that that is available to you. And then that's for a lot of the newer agents. And then looking forward to meeting everybody at the Capper event this Thursday. And if you are not there this year, I'm sure you will next year. So let us help.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you for availing yourselves. Team, can't stress enough. Coming up on a holiday, we want to be in heavy communication now, not on July 3rd. Right? Let's get our clients, our escrow and title, and get everybody and our lenders, everybody aligned. If we're closing on Friday or we're closing on Monday, those things, we want to be ticked and tied and just have the lines open now. Do not assume that everything is going smoothly, because when we assume, we leave ourselves exposed. So communication, seek first to understand, and do it early and often in this situation. So thank you, guys. And then I didn't see whether or not Gina was on the line. Doesn't look like she or Matt are. So we are going to cruise through to our feature presentation. So we're talking about SOI made simple. So for those of you who are not masters of all the Kellerisms or the TLAs, those are 3-letter acronyms for this organization or even this industry yet, your sphere of influence are going to be the people who are most influential and closest to you, right? They are people that you will rely on as repeat customers. They may be past customers, they may be past colleagues, they may be friends and family, co-workers, maybe referral partners from afar, but the people who are driving business to you. And the primary way that people do that is through their sphere, right? Through referrals, right? So we have a referral. We are a referral-based business. Many of us are. Friends, family, former colleagues make up over 40%, in some cases over 50% of all the business that realtors do. Referrals from friends, family members, and former colleagues. Then you bake in your past clients and repeat customers, and you've got almost 2/3 of all the business that you'll do. And so your sphere is the group that is going to help you expand your database and therefore expand your business. Last year at MegaCamp, Gina Sharma, an agent out of Alpharetta, Georgia, one of the top 30,000 agents in the United States across all brokerages, right? Gina is in the top 2, almost top 1% of all agents in North America. She walked through the very simple strategies that she uses to engage her sphere. And if some of these you're going to look at and you're going to say, oh, that's simple, or I do that already. And I want you to think about what the goal of, we're going to look at some client events, we're going to look at some client touches. What the goal of this is to get you in conversation and relationship with people, and then steer that conversation and relationship towards real estate because the more people that think about you when they think about real estate, the bigger your business gets. So it is very simple, right? And if somebody can build one of the biggest businesses in the United States doing this, I promise you, you can as well. Whoops. So Gina's first recommendation is 5 client events or pop buys per year, right? So a client event is just an event where you invite clients, you invite people in your database, you invite everybody you know. And a pop by is where you pop by their house. So, pop bys that we've seen people do could be, you pop, if I know they have kids, I pop by with water balloons and popsicles in the summertime. If it's, I can pop by with some flowers, some potted or plantable flowers in the spring, right? When it's getting around planting season. I can do those sort of things that have a more a physical item or element to them that would be better if I was there. We're looking at client events right here. And this is what Gina does. She does a happy hour, and then she does another happy hour. She does a family event in the summer. She does she bolts on to a festival event in the fall. And then she does a pie giveaway and photos with Santa towards the end of the year. And for nothing like particularly compelling or like over the top about this. And that's because these client events, if you're thinking about doing 1 client event, 12 client events, doesn't matter. The point of the client event is to talk to the people that you want there. Because if we invite 500 people to an event, we might get 50 to show up. But if we have 500 conversations with people leading up to, and then after the event, that's 1,000 touches, right? Across our database, or 2 touches for each of the 500 people. So when I look at this, I think about a couple of things, and none of this is just being pulled out of thin air. This is from observing agents in our marketplace, and specifically in our market center, leverage this as they've been moving forward. 1, anything can be a client event. Your client event doesn't have to be a happy hour. Your client event doesn't have to be a barbecue. It doesn't have to be a pie giveaway. There's nothing wrong with any of those, but literally anything can be a client event that your clients would show up to, right? First time home buyer seminar, client event, right? Something that's very real estate focused, or something that has nothing to do with real estate. Both of those can qualify as client events. I think the other great thing you can do is bolt your event. You can draft off of an existing event. So I always like you do the pregame or the postgame, right? So if you are looking to do a client event and you're like, well, I don't know, what to plan, who to invite, how to do it. What you could do is take the happy hour model, and don't just throw a happy hour on a random Monday night and then expect people to show up and do all that. What you can do is take an event that's already taking place. Maybe it's a community event. Maybe it's a block party. Maybe it's a parent-teacher conference meeting, whatever it is. And you can make your client event, if there's enough of your sphere that overlaps with that event, you can just do like, we're doing the pre-festival, 5K, or we're gonna do the post-meeting happy hour. I'm buying drinks for everybody at the after the parent-teacher association meeting, right? So it doesn't have to be event creation. It can just be event adjacency, right? Especially when you're starting out, if you're trying to lead with revenue, which is the first financial principle of financial fundamentals for Keller Williams, lead with revenue. You don't have to plan a big event and rent out a hall or do anything like that. You can simply invite people to be somewhere prior to or after they're already going to be somewhere else. A great thing to think about with client events is, who are your clients, right? And doing client events that may be more relevant, right? Are your clients primarily parents? Are they primarily retirees or empty nesters? Are they primarily young professionals, right? Are your clients primarily from your church? If you go back to last week, right, we're talking about niches. This is where your database tagging is going to come in super handy, right? If you're thinking about where you can maximize your exposure around specific client events, try to bifurcate your database, or figure out like who's there, right? Or like, what does everybody in your database have in common? I saw the Golden Group host an event at a dog park / dog bar, because a lot of their clients have dogs. What do you know? And so you're just meeting people where they're at with respect to that. The fourth thing that I would talk about is, you see it right there on the fourth item, leverage KWGM's events. We have an event every fall, which is the Trunk or Treat. It's a great event. It grows a little more every year, and it's growing a little more every year because more folks are inviting their clients. Melanie Sweeney does a fantastic job of this. One of her clients even entered a trunk in the Trunk or Treat, right? So she gets to talk to all of her past clients and her sphere of influence about this great event that's happening. Just so happens to be happening at her office, right? As far as they know, it's her event. They get to come out, bring their families, have some chili, enjoy some candy, set up a trunk, and that's her touch. Which, what is she doing? Nothing. She's just inviting people to an existing event and positing that it is hers, which we want everybody to do, right? This back parking lot could have 1,000 cars in it. And it probably couldn't fit, but the point is, that thing is already happening. And our goal is to continue to add opportunities like this. One thing I would say is that, hey, if, let's say that that's not really your bag, well, what's something that you can do that somebody else might partner with you on? Another agent in the office, or a lender, or just another person in the community whose business may or may not be related, right? But there can be cross-pollination of your sphere and their sphere. Those opportunities are really powerful. And then the last thing that I would say is, don't worry about being basic, right? I hear this a lot around the pie giveaway, like, oh yeah, everyone needs another pie around the holidays, like they need a hole in the head. Wait, guys, it's not about the pie. It's not about the pie. It's about the touches. You're calling and inviting them. Oh, or you're popping by with the pie, right? And you get to stand in their foyer and talk to them for 15 minutes about what's going on. How's the house? How are the kids? What's happening? Anything big coming up, right? And you're just mining all of these life events, all this data around what they may need. There's a big opportunity there. So again, don't try to do the world's most sophisticated client event. You can do something as simple as give away popsicles or pies, right? I would recommend popsicles in the summer and pies in the winter. If you wanted to flip it around, that would be interesting. I don't think it would work, but popsicles and pies might be we might be doing a whole themed event around that. No, I'm kidding. We won't. But the point is, don't overthink it, right? Don't overthink your client events, because it's more about the touches. So I want to pause here, and anyone feel free to unmute. Feel free to pop into the chat. I would love to hear, whatever. What are you currently doing? What are you planning on doing? What have you thought about doing, but just haven't pulled the trigger on? Like, is there, let's do some sharing here, because we're seeing a rise in this as a strong client engagement tool, based on the shifting market and where we can get the biggest bang for our buck in our prospecting and marketing dollars and our spends. So what else are you guys doing? What's out there? What have you seen?
We're shifting towards doing even more like charitable community events, things that we're like raising money for, different charities, whatever it is. Like, hey, like, for example, we started brainstorming one that's like a fun day where we have like inflatables and food trucks and face paint and all that stuff, and people will pay like to come, and then we take the proceeds of that and use it towards, whatever community, we talked about CRS, like community resources. different things like that, you know, and then we invite all of our clients and friends, if anyone wants to volunteer to help, you know, do different things like that. We've talked about doing nominations for people in the communities who need help that we can link people up with, you know, people whose houses burned down that we can, you know, link together, we can donate things. I think that, you know, when we start thinking about how much money we spend in online leads, it kind of, you know, you start to think like, oh my gosh, I get like $5,000 invested into our community with different things like that can make just as much of a positive impact in, you know, the content that you can create out of it. You know, like, you know, if you organized to paint a veteran in your community's home, you know, in your area, and invited all of your clients to come and help paint, you know, someone in your community who needs it, or a senior in your community or something like that, costs you no money whatsoever, except maybe some paint and supplies that someone will probably donate, you know, and everyone in your community knows that now you're donating your time and energy, you know, it's like things like that that don't even cost any money, you know, but Jason Abrams really prescribes that, you know, it's where if you build around a community that you like, you know, like whatever the event is, as long as it's something that like resonates with you, you know, it can be really powerful, and building that network, building your network.
Yeah, well, you make a great point, you know, and this is true with our database, and it's true with this focus on community, Eddie, and thank you for sharing that. You spend $5,000 in a month on Zillow and you get leads. You work those leads, you might close a transaction. That transaction might turn into repeat business somewhere down the road. And that's great, right? There's models built around that. There's people who do that at a really high level. I find that what you just described is so much more evergreen, because you're going to invest in a community and create a lightning rod inside of that community with an investment in a veteran's house, in a donation, in a big community event that then is going to be something that you get credit for long after that event takes place, right?
Yeah, it's essentially creating like 4 red days a year, you know what I mean? And just kind of inviting all your friends. I mean, when you think of statistics show that NAR has it where 65, actually it's like 68% of your business comes from your friends and family, like your sphere. So like if you put 68% of your resources into friends and family and sphere, it's like you try and figure out those events that really hit your sphere well, you know? So.
Now that's a really good focusing question, right? What would it look like if you put 70% of your asset or your expense allocation towards your sphere every year?
And it's true. I mean, I'm about that amount. 65 to 70% of my business comes from my sphere, and it's it's just weird that we all are chasing like online leads when they really account for such a small percentage of our business, or like the easy handed fruit of like, oh, I just bought this lead and it goes and sells, when in reality, most of your business comes from these people who are like supporting it in whichever way. The happy hours, like just take your friends out and drink, you know, like I mean, it's easy stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's another good point is, do client events have to be events that have 150 people at them?
Yeah, no.
No,
they
don't.
Mike had a really good idea where he would invite 10 clients, and he would make their client bring one person with them, and then he would do a dinner, you know, where he would like host a chef, or he would like take to a nice restaurant, but a client had to bring someone that they didn't know, you know, to just kind of do like a meet and greet, you know.
Yeah, super easy. It's a really good point to emphasize. It doesn't have to be massive, huge events. If your sphere of influence, if you have half a dozen referral partners who really, and we're going to get into this in a minute, who really make your life easy, right? You got somebody that's kicked you 2 deals in the last 6 months. I think that person might just get like, you know, a nice night at the Cabin Club or at Giovanni's with you and them and their spouse, or maybe it's, you know, you get them a nice gift card or something like that gives them an experience. Hell, the client event doesn't even have to involve you. But the opportunity for that all of a sudden becomes very interesting, because then, as I said, anything can be a client event. All right, on to the second thing that is in this playbook that Gina Sharma, one of the top realtors in the entire United States, uses. And you know, you hear me pound the table on this all the time: database, 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 database. There is, when you think about the prescribed number of touches and communications to a client through the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right, to convert them and and earn referrals, it's 36. You start saying, oh my gosh, how am I going to talk to somebody 3 times a month? Right. And then, okay, I have my 4 client events. I've got my 12 newsletters. I've got my 12 neighborhood updates. And then, and all those go to everybody. But where you really start to get the social capital is the one-to-ones. Right. And so, hey, what do I mail or text or call somebody about? Well, you need to know more about them. And I promise you, for a lot of people in your sphere, you have this information. It's in a date book. It's in a spreadsheet. It's in an email. It's just not in your database. So you're not being prompted to respond to it. Right. For some of your clients, you don't have it. Here's the amazing thing. The world is still cycling through this phenomenon where they tell everybody everything that they do on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, TikToks, any form of social media, LinkedIn, they are telling people, right? And I would encourage you, and there's a spot in the database section of KW Command for every one of the social media profiles, so you give Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn all saved in that contact, so you can click right through to them. So why is that important? Well, one, it gives you the chance to have all of their information in one spot. It also allows you to go to different places for different things. Maybe, just maybe, you don't have somebody in your sphere's birthday. Okay, you can go on Facebook, and it's very likely that they've put that birthday in, maybe not the year. Some people are sensitive about that, but they've got the date there. Or you can scroll down their timeline and see the last time everybody was wishing them happy birthday, right? And get in proximity to it. I'm not encouraging you to be weird or stalkerish with this. I'm just encouraging you to be observant, right? So then if you troll LinkedIn, you'll see, oh, they changed jobs. They got a promotion. Maybe they're now looking for work, right? There's a whole campaign that individuals on LinkedIn can start when they lose their job that says that they're looking for work. Well, job loss is a leading cause of selling your house. So if you're able to observe that, it's a terrible thing to have happen to somebody, but it also gives you a reason to reach out, be helpful, be useful, ask what you can do. But when you observe major life events, birth, death, marriage, divorce, promotion, or demotion, those are the things that precede real estate events. I'm going to say those again slowly. Birth, death, marriage, divorce, promotion, and demotion are the 6 life events that drive the majority of real estate transactions. And you have the chance to observe those. You also have the chance to leverage those on an annualized basis, some of them, right? You can observe that this person's child was born on this day. Right. And then, yeah, I'm sure they are flooded with people who say, hey, congratulations on the new bundle of joy. But when it's 2 or 3 or 5 years later and, Uncle Eddie is still sending the birthday card to his past client's kid that they've never met, it would be hard for another realtor to shoehorn their way into that relationship. Or if you're remembering wedding anniversaries, right? Or any major milestones, you can pull this information from social media, and you can also observe it in real time. So this is a great way to dominate your sphere and be in conversation and relationship with them. Send text, handwritten notes, phone calls around things other than real estate, which will ultimately lead to real estate related conversations. So is there anybody out there who's doing anything specific or has good systems around recognizing clients or recognizing special dates and days? You can put it in the chat or just unmute. one thing I'm always reminded about when it comes to this, there's a phrase that is, you take care of the people who take care of you, right? So that's what your sphere is. You take care of the people that take care of you. And then that's like, that's a 8 out of 10 strategy. The 10 out of 10 is you take care of the people who take care of them, right? So in my database, I have my sphere, which is primarily my personal sphere is primarily a bunch of guys that I went to college with and that I was in college fraternity with together. And we've done business together. We've done a lot together. The more important dates that are associated with those contacts in my database are the birthdays of their kids, their wedding anniversary, and their wedding anniversary. And the reason for that is whenever I need something, or, one of my buddies wants to come visit, they always get the green light from the missus, because every year she gets a happy wedding anniversary card, and their kids get a dollar in the mail from Uncle Mike, right? And I think that that's really valuable in identifying not only who the decision makers are, who the influencers are, but then, what makes their life easier. And I've taken that position, and maybe there's one that others will take as well, related to, their specific clients, past clients, and sphere. John Murchison put in the chat, home anniversary purchase, or home purchase anniversary, right? Your home anniversary. I think there is, when you have past clients, you cannot afford to miss this date. There is so much that you can pivot off of. And this is like a nice memory milestone, but it's also directly related to housing, right? So the opportunity for you to get into real estate related conversations on the home anniversary. Hey, what's going on with the house? Hey, here's an important one. Your insurance renews, home insurance renews on purchase dates. So unless you change it off cycle. So it's a great opportunity to talk about the value of somebody's home. Hey, you bought this home 5 years ago. If you're still in the same insurance profile, you might be underinsured by a factor of, 30, 40%, right? And now you get into a fiduciary conversation about how they protect the value in their home, or maybe how they access the value of their home by selling it. So really, really powerful one. And guys, guess what? Not only is there a section in your command database for home anniversary, there's also a smart plan that ties to it that reminds you to call your client on their home anniversary, right? So all you have to do is open up your command, look at what it's telling you to do that day, and do it. Kelly says, most every holiday I send out a text, not from Twilio, not a group text. Each of these days almost always ends up being a bold 100, which is, contacting 100 people in the same day, because of the conversations that are generated just wishing somebody a good holiday. Absolutely incredibly powerful, right? And all you're doing is saying, hey, happy St. Patrick's Day. And then what do you know? They respond, oh, thanks so much. How you been? Oh, I've been great. What's going on with you? How's work? Right? And then boom, you're into conversations about real estate, about life, and ultimately about potentially doing business or getting business referred to you. All right. And then finally, we've already hit on this a little bit, but giving back to the community, incredibly easy and powerful, and what I would call evergreen, right? Your investment in your community is an investment in your business. I would argue that when you're operating and you're inside of a community, you can treat every event like it's your event, right? We talked about this a little bit in section 1, but there's no reason that you have to throw the Fall Fun Fest. You can just attend the Fall Fun Fest and buy everybody hot apple cider while they're pumpkin picking. It doesn't have to be anything massive. And the more integrated it is with the community, the harder it will be for folks to separate you from that community as the realtor. I talked about this last week in our session on the riches and the niches. When you find your niche or when you're driving the community angle, take a leadership role. Take a leadership role and get yourself on the planning committee, on the board, on the, for the CYO league, you're the one who brings the orange slices, whatever it is. You want to take some sort of leadership role. And stay with me here. I want you to get some traffic going on phone and email, right? Now, your email that you're going to use for your leadership role, is it going to be Big Don CCM at yahoo.com? No, it's not. You're going to use your professional email. You're going to use your KW email, and you're going to have an email signature in there that says you're a realtor. That way, every time you send an email, every time you reply all to the PTA, every time you send out the schedule for CYO League basketball, right? Whatever it is, everybody is seeing an email come from you at kw.com with a signature in there that says, I'm a realtor, I'm a realtor, I'm a realtor, right? These are free marketing hits so that when a life event happens and somebody needs a realtor, the one living in their inbox is you. Second thing, people might be calling you with questions about what's happening with the thing that you're a leader in. You're going to have your voicemail set up to say, this is Eddie Golden with Keller Williams, Greater Metropolitan, and the Golden Group, your neighborhood realtor, in the voicemail greeting, so that every single time somebody has to leave you a voicemail, they get reminded that you're a realtor. Whether it's your barber or your dentist or your brother, you want them to know that you're a realtor. You want everybody to know you're a realtor, because the more people that think about you and they think about real estate, the bigger your business gets. So take advantage of the infrastructure already created by communities, youth leagues, churches, nonprofits, and use your work email and have a great voicemail set up that tells people you're a realtor, and then take a leadership role to create more traffic. We already touched on this, and I know we're getting to time here. So in terms of community outreach, go ahead and drop those in the chat as we wind down here. Also, if there's something that you want to do or you're going to start doing this year, throw that in the chat. And again, I want to reiterate, the world is publicizing itself constantly. You can use this to your advantage by just being observant, right? You see something happen in somebody's life, don't comment on their Facebook thread, right? Don't be one of 17 people to do the auto-populate congratulations. Call them on the phone and say, hey, I just saw the news. Congratulations on the promotion. That's awesome. Tell me more about that, right? Especially for your sphere of influence and your past clients, and for as many people as you can, right? Or if something bad happens, get on the phone immediately, right? And be there for them. When the world is putting it out there, take advantage of it. So you can download this playbook and all playbooks on KW Connect or through that QR code. And when it comes to putting this all together, there's a reason these playbooks are one-pagers, right? It should be simple, right? The simple thing is pick a client event and do it, right? Pick a life event and get everybody in your database, get their birthdays in there. And then pick a community event and get involved with it, or pick a community element and get involved with. If you do those three things, you'll get more business. And I would argue you'll enjoy the work that you do a lot more. It will be more meaningful when you have a hand in what's happening in your community. And then anything that you need help with related to marketing materials or prep around those events, please reach out to Carrie Mitchell or Kate or Kelly at the Leverage Center about things that are available or ways that we could do some ad hoc support for you and your events. We just had an agent last week engage around some flyers for a table fair that they're going to be a part of this weekend for veterans. So a very, very cool way to leverage as you move into this client event work. All right, guys, that'll do it for this week. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. in Pepper Pike for a little coffee chat with Nancy Immerman about profit share, and then all of the cappers. So excited to see you and celebrate you on Thursday of this week. Looks like we're going to have choice weather yet again. So we'll see you at All Saints Public House for that event. All right, guys, have a great day.